I've been living in the Mudhouse for 4 years and a lot has changed. Or has it? Let's take a closer look today. Well, the biggest change has been having a furry friend in my life, and that is right over here, and this is Night. Night settled into my life about 3 years ago. She just turned up in the jungle from somewhere, which was a big surprise for us. It was just amazing that she just stood there in one corner and meowed. Of course, the other main benefit of having Night around is that she keeps away some of the animals in the Mudhouse. I must say there's quite a lot of animals here, especially in the Mudhouse, and we're living in the jungle. There's some bigger ones like tree shrews, toucan geckos, really big geckos. Also rats, right? White-bellied rats. But the fact that I have Night makes sure that she controls everything. But one of the things that sometimes can get a little annoying, and that is when it is raining. Right? During the rainy season, there's a lot of moisture that comes from the soil. We should have actually put a sheet plastic that prevents moisture from raising from the ground into the structure, but we didn't do that. Therefore, I do get a lot of moisture inside the Mudhouse. And then besides that, there's a bunch of little things that have been happening to the Mudhouse. So the first thing I want to talk about is right here, the veranda. The veranda has been an amazing addition to the Mudhouse because I've just simply enjoyed coming out of the house and then sitting out here enjoying the rain, watching the rain go by, right? But the one thing that has happened, I was specifically told by the mud architect that we need to have at least 1.5 meter long roof that sticks out of the side of the house. That is not what we did because I didn't like that design. So I decided to get a little naughty and then went ahead, and what we ended up getting was damage to the structure, as you can see over here. I could literally chip off tiny pieces off the plastering. You can see this is a piece of the plastering that's the outside. Similar kind of problems also exist in other places. These pillars that are in the front of the house, we decided to actually leave as only with one layer of plastering. So on close-up, you can see that this is basically the mud and just the rice husk. The reason was we really wanted people to be able to see the mud bricks and plastering. The effects that had was things like this. This was the pillar that got affected because this side tends to get more rain and more sun. The other addition that we added to the Mudhouse was this right here. And as the sun comes forth, it hits the house from this direction. It leaves all of this exposed, which really puts up the temperature of the house as the sun hits. Adding this sheet cover, that would at least prevent the sun from coming full blast over here. So that was one of the main things that I learned by building this Mudhouse, was that protecting it from the rain and the sun is the most important thing when it comes to a Mudhouse. So you can see over here that there are two separate plastering. This is clearly the mud plastering. As you can see, it's dark mud. It's done really well. It is stuck, held on really well. And on this side, we did some concrete plastering. You can actually sounds different, and then you start realizing that the concrete plastering tends to break off. So another thing that happened, this has got to do with elephants, and that is with the fact that we realized that exposed pipes are not good for elephants. This is our drain pipe for the shower, and the water just go through here and go out there and water some of the trees that we had planted. But the elephant like pipes because they think that there's water in them. They decided to break the pipe over here. Another lesson learned again. And that lesson is that if you're putting pipes out of your house in elephant area, make sure it's underground, right, and not above the ground like this. Now there's one tiny little animal, insect, that can cause quite a lot of big trouble, and that is termites, right? In this case, you notice the fact that the termites are here for, I'm gonna pop the shell in this case. I'm gonna pop their little tunnel. So in this case, there is no termites in here, but we have had quite a bit of termite problems on the Mudhouse. And that's because, of course, the termites want to come and eat the rice husk that's on the inside of the mud bricks. And the way to have solved that is to use lime. I was told that we should have used lime on the base of the Mudhouse, so that you know, so that animals are not attracted, are repelled away from the base, from coming upwards. So one layer of lime all around the walls of the Mudhouse would have solved that. Yeah. So let's now head into the inside of the Mudhouse, right? And first thing is the fact that it is just so much cooler. The fact that the deeper you head in, the cooler it gets. And the biggest addition here, the fact is, on the inside of the Mudhouse, not much has actually changed. Right? Most of it is very much exactly the way it is. Little additions are, bugs do create little marks like that. But besides that, the main thing that's changed is extra furniture, right over here. Of course, is for the purpose of having my cat be able to get in and out of this house, right? She basically owns the house, right? So she lives here. And then, of course, is the addition, which is the automatic cat feeder right here. Besides that is one, might look small, but very important addition to the bathroom. Right? As you turn up here, one important addition that we have is the metal bars that we have added over here. This was a very important addition, again because of, you guessed it, elephants. What elephants would do is, as I was sleeping at night, they would come by and they would put their trunk down from here over this wall, and then put their trunk into this barrel right here, and then I would hear this sucking sound, and they would scoop up all the water over here. As a result of which, we had to put these metal bars . This is the second floor of the Mudhouse. If some of you want to watch a video about that, I'm going to put that into the link as well. But of course, things are a bit messy, as you can see. The second floor has become a storage space for stuff. I usually come out over here, enjoy the sunset by sitting out there. So, after 4 years of living in the Mudhouse, how do I feel? I feel great. I love it. It is just such a beautiful experience. First of all, to be so close to nature, literally have the earth surrounding you, right? The ability to earth by just touching the wall itself. The feeling and the temperature, besides the fact that, you know, that it is so much cooler, it's also just by touching the wall you can feel how much cooler the wall is. So it's just such a nice feeling. Of course, it has its cons as well, like the fact that there's quite a few bugs around, and that's why you need a cat. The cat really helps, right? And of course, if we knew about using lime before, and of course, then there's of course a little bit of issues with the mold and that means that we should have designed it better. We should find a way to prevent the moisture from coming up from the ground. So these are mistakes that we learn from, that we will prevent next time around when we build our second mud house. So if any one of you is out there is considering building a mud house, I'd say go for it. It is an amazing experience.